We were approached by a woman whose husband had a traumatic brain injury and did not have Parkinson's disease. And she was looking for some different avenues on how to help him, maybe kind of find a pathway to a little bit more of normalcy. Um, and so she approached us alongside one of our current students, and they kind of pitched the idea, hey, there's a program that helps people with Parkinson's, and they use boxing to do it, and we were hoping you guys would want to get involved with that. And so my dad, it was kind of something close to home for him, so he was like, yeah, I think that'd be something really good to do. So then he came to me and our other coach at the time, and we ended up going and getting certified with the Rock Steady boxing program. Uh, and then coming back, and we've been doing the program ever since.
So I was a pediatric, I was a pediatric dentist, and my left pinky started to twitch. That was my first sign of something was amiss.
It was actually a doctor I was taking my mother to for cognitive issues. He saw my resting thumb tremor, and then I read an article. He just suggested maybe I should get screening because his father also had Parkinson's. He was well aware of it. And then later, I thought something maybe not right. I was slowing down. I read an article. Lonnie Ali was interviewed, and she said when a Muhammad would had his hands up in prayer, he had that thumb resting tremor. I'm like, nah. Months, a year and a half goes by before I actually got the diagnosis in 2015, 10 years ago.
I had anxiety and mild depression for a couple of years before I was diagnosed, which I attribute to the first signs of Parkinson's. Also, I lost my sense of smell in a way. So that was my first thing I noticed. Yeah, it was a little weird when you can't taste food very well anymore. It's sure sign that something is amiss. Well, I sold my practice fairly quickly after that. It's hard to do dinner if your hands are shaking, you know.
Yeah.
I sold it to a good friend of mine, and I still I drive by it every day now.
Well, I just noticed that when I was in the garden working, I do a lot of volunteer weeding and at Udell Botanic Gardens that back then, and I realized my right hand, I'm right-handed, was just holding the tools, and the left hand, I had slowly adapted to the speedier side, my left side. And once I got the diagnosis, everything fell together. Your mind. First, I cried, went home, started thinking the depression, big depression. Things fell into place. But for at least a year and a half, I said no to any drugs until Dr. Phillips he hands me a paper. He says, now it says, if you start the drugs, the carbidopa, levodopa early or in your safari, it has more benefits than side effects. I already had dyskinesia coming on, and if you get overstimulated on the drugs, it'll give you dyskinesia. But I was happily on carbidopa for about 4 or 5 years. It did everything I need. I could hula hoop, I could cook, and chop up onions, and life was settling into a whole new normal until 6 years down the road. The need for taking carbidopa levodopa was every 2 hours. So it started out in the beginning 6 years earlier. Really, 6, maybe 5. Let's not do the math. 3 times a day. Well, here I was up to 8 times a day, and something to help me sleep because you get in bed and your head on your pillow starts doing. So the slow release did help me get about 4 or 5 consecutive sleep hours, and then I'm up again. So,
Wow.
well, 3 years ago, going on 4, when I got to that point of the drugs not helping, it was more side effects than efficacy. I decided on what he had always said all along: there's DBS, and that was terrifying, deep brain stimulation surgery. So I said, yes, do me now, in June of 2021. So I finally got scheduled, tested, screened. They screen you so well at Norton to see if you would be a good candidate, because not every patient has different
Right.
symptoms. So my boxes were checked, and I was a green light, and did it in October of 2021. And I was hoping for taking less carbidopa, just kind of get me off of that. And now I'm no drugs.
Well, it was it worked really well actually for me. I had a lot decreased dystonia and decreased dyskinesia. Although my medication still stayed the same. So you hope that you get a big reduction in medication when you get that surgery. Oh, well, right now I'm on, it's called Ritery. It's an extended release carbidopa levodopa on a pill. I take 20 of those a day. I take a drug called amantadine. I take four of those a day. That's 24 just on two of my drugs. So I take about 30 something every day total.
How did you discover horse sports? Introduction? Someone introduced you?
You
Or?
know, I really wish I could say the doctor's office. One day I'm on the phone. Well, I did see Leslie Stahl in 2015, did a profile of her husband, Aaron,
Yeah.
on CBS. Saw that and I thought, wow. I think I immediately then contacted Rocksteady in Indianapolis. They said, oh, you're in Louisville. We don't have an affiliate in Louisville. Would you like to open one? And I was like, I'm just diagnosed. I don't know what to do. Thank you. Bye. And a few weeks later, I was talking to my aunt. She lives out next to Greg Stevens. We call Doc here. And she said, oh, Holly, Doc Stevens has what you have, but he does a boxing program. What, Bessie? Tell me more. Really? Okay, thanks. Talk to you later. Bye. I got on the phone, and that was it.
Yeah.
Once I got into core, and that was 8 years ago, April, coming up in April, I think.
Wow.
I cannot.
Well, if I don't come here, then I get really stiff, extra stiff, and I don't function as well. So that's for sure. It's really good to do. The key is to get your heart rate up, and that just does a good job of that.
A lot of the drills that we do, actually our other coach had kind of come up with. He kind of like really formed a lot of like the drills, the uh workouts, and I kind of was almost being coached by him on how to coach a little bit. And then the boxing drills themselves are a little bit more just like, a lot of them are very standard boxing combinations, or just like, ways to keep people moving, and hit the bag and kind of try to like have fun with it at the same time. So keeping people interested is kind of a big part as well, not just giving them a workout, but giving them a little bit of like a sense of like accomplishing something, a sense of community a little bit as well. Like we're really trying to um, make it fun for everybody at the same time, so that it's not just like, oh, I'm coming to work out. It's like, oh, I'm going to have a really good time. So kind of try to just keep it that way.
Am I right? Because, yeah, with cancer, when I went to the support group, it was too much. It was just too much. I felt too mortal. This might beat me. I just didn't want to go there, so I didn't stay with that. Oh well, that's all history now.
So what did you tell them?
I told them that your life is not over. It's not a death sentence. It's something that you can manage. fairly well for a long time. Beyond that, just try to don't 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 think you can't do things. It's possible to do some great things, even with a disease like Parkinson's.
Find a community, and get involved in that community. Don't just kind of sit and wallow in it. That's easier said than done sometimes, but I think the important thing is make sure you're active, get the exercise you need because that's really important in your day-to-day life regardless. But what makes this program really cool is the community aspect of it. I mean, there's, you know, people are all going through the same thing, the same struggle, and most of the people that sign up for the class tend to stay involved in the class, which I think is really cool, because of that community. If we were just an exercise class, I don't think we'd have the same member retention that we have. I think we'd maybe have like 2 or 3 people that stay just because they want the workout, and then the rest of them would kind of go and find something else to do. But that community aspect is what I think really builds the program. So go find a community of people that you're um, that are going through the same thing you're going through, and then from there, I think you'll kind of find what you're looking for.